There's a woman who goes into the wrong house. Will she come out alive and survive the ordeal? You'll find it out at the end of this video. Hello. I am Cardmorn. You are watching the Games Nexus. And in this video I'm going to tell you the plot summary of the Barbarian movie from 2022. First segment. A woman, Georgina Campbell as Tess Marshall, arrives in Detroit, and goes to a house at Barbary Street, but contrary to the email she got, even though the code lets her in the lockbox, there's no key there. She cannot reach the agent, but notices that someone's in the house. She finds there a young man, Bill Skarsgård as Keith Toshko, who says that he also rented the house, on another service. The woman calls a hotel but they are fully booked. They decide that she can spend the night in the house, and next day they'll call the owner. They start talking, and the woman tells that she came for a job interview with a documentary filmmaker. They are about to make a new documentary about a group of artists in the city, the Lion Tamers, and the young man says that he is one of the founders of that group. After they go to sleep separately, the woman wakes up due to the noises the young man makes, because he seems to have a bad dream. The woman also notices that her door was open, even though she closed it before going to bed. When the woman gets out of the house the next day, she notices that all of the houses in the neighborhood Brightmoor are derelicts, and there are wrecked cars on the sides of the road. On the job interview, the documentary maker warns her that the neighborhood she rents the house is dangerous. While getting back to the house, a man runs after her, and chases her until she shuts the door. As she looks around the house, she gets stuck in the basement, because the door closes on her. She finds a secret room there, with a bed and a camera. The young man arrives, and lets her out of the basement. She tells him about the secret room. The young man goes to check it, finds a set of stairs leading deeper, then he disappears. As the woman hears his voice, begging for help, she goes after him. When she finds him, he tries to explain to her that someone else is there. Suddenly, a savage woman, Matthew Patrick Davis as the mother, appears, and bashes the head of the young man. Second segment. A filmmaker, Justin Long as A.J. Gilbride, receives a call from his network, with bad news. He has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman, Megan. In order to have some money for the trial expenses, he decides to sell his house in Detroit, that happens to be the house we've seen before. When he arrives, he finds the belongings of the young man and the woman. He calls the agent, but she says that the house hasn't been rented for weeks. The filmmaker talks with a friend in a bar, and tells him that he slept with the woman who accused him, and while she was resisting in the beginning, in the end, she let him. Back at home, he hears noises from the basement, so he goes there, and finds the secret room. As he wants to sell it, he decides to explore the place, so he could include it in the total area of the house. When he goes down, the savage woman scares him, and while he runs away, he falls into a pit, where he gets trapped. In the pit, he meets a woman, the woman from the first segment. Third segment. In the past, we are in the time when the neighborhood was fine, during the Reagan administration. There's a man, Richard Brake as Frank, who is living in the house. He prepares for a home birth, and buys some stuff for that. He then follows a woman to her home. He pretends to be a worker, gets in her house, and opens one of the windows probably for a later entry. When he gets home, we hear female screaming. Fourth segment. In the present, the woman advises the filmmaker that he has to be calm, otherwise the savage woman also gets agitated. The savage woman offers a baby bottle to feed them. The woman explains that the savage woman wants them to be her babies. While the savage woman is occupied with the filmmaker, the woman gets out of the pit. She climbs out of the basement through the window, where a local man, Jamie's butler as Andre, helps her out. The local man knows about the savage woman, and tells the woman that she should leave the filmmaker, and feel lucky that she got out alive. He tells her that the savage woman comes out of the house at night. And she is not the worst thing in the house. The filmmaker is still in the basement, and as he wanders, he finds an old man, the man we've seen in the third segment. When the filmmaker finds it out that he was abducting women, he pulls a gun and shoots himself in the head. The filmmaker grabs the gun. The woman finds police officers and leads them to the house, but they don't believe her, and say that nobody lives in that house. After the police leaves, she breaks into the house, to find the keys to her car. When she is about to leave, the savage woman bursts out of the house. She runs her over, seemingly killing the savage woman. The woman goes into the basement, where she gets shot by the filmmaker by accident. She is seriously injured, but they get out of the house. The car of the woman is wrecked, while the keys for the car of the man is in the basement. As they don't find the body of the savage woman, the filmmaker doesn't dare to go back for them. They go to the hiding place of the local man, thinking they are safe. The savage woman breaks into the place, and kills the local man. The woman and the filmmaker climb up a tower, but the savage woman follows them. The filmmaker decides to toss the woman off the tower, hoping that the savage woman will jump after her. As the savage woman considers them their babies, she jumps after her, to save her. As the savage woman softens her fall, the woman survives. The filmmaker comes up with excuses why he pushed her off. Suddenly, the savage woman wakes up, and kills the filmmaker. The savage woman hugs the woman, trying to comfort her. When the savage woman indicates that she wants to bring the woman back to the house, the woman uses the gun to shoot the savage woman in the head.